What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for Sports. All right, so before I get into the video, I want to give a big shout out to one of my new subscribers for showing love to the channel. All right, much respect to Chris for the $10 donation via the PayPal. He says, "Hey, bro, love your channel, bro. I have a question. What do you think of the impact Len Bias would have had on the NBA? Maybe Bird would have won more championships. Probably could have affected Mike's legacy. What do you think?" I mean, that's one of those long thought about, what ifs. That's one of the big what ifs when it comes to the history of the NBA. What if Len Bias had not died of that drug overdose? Literally, 24 hours, 2 days after being drafted by the Boston Celtics in '86 draft. Uh, that's one of the big what ifs. And I have my own personal thoughts about that. I'll probably do a video about that tomorrow, probably on this channel, Too Raw for Sports. So look out for that video coming tomorrow. But once again, thank you, Chris, for showing love to the channel. Much respect to you. Much respect to everybody that supports this channel, as well as Too Raw for TV, as well as the Patreon. Much respect also goes to the LDBC, the Lions Den basketball community. This is a question I got yesterday. And it was, what if, instead of going to Miami, what if Chris Bosh, Dwayne Wade, and LeBron James had went to Chicago? Now, this was actually a real possibility at one point during the process. But later on, I would say I'm trying to go by memory, maybe the last 4 or 5 days of the process, Miami surged ahead of Chicago as the prohibitive favorite for several reasons. One of them being that I think Miami just tried harder. Miami, Pat Riley, they really went at LeBron James because Wade was already there. So they really made a grand pitch toward LeBron James. LeBron James was the main piece, and they did a great job trying to recruit him. Chicago was lukewarm. Derrick Rose was not all that enthusiastic as far as trying to go out there and try to lure LeBron James. And one thing that hurts the Chicago Bulls in that process is that we all know, at least those of us who aren't, too young, we all know that Joakim Noah and LeBron James don't like each other. All right? And that hurt the chances of him going to Chicago. Let's just say, for the sake of argument, let's just say Joakim Noah and LeBron James buried the hatchet and Noah wanted LeBron James to come. And let's say Derrick Rose and the Chicago Bulls did everything they could to try to lure LeBron James in. Because there was a definite possibility. Wade, of course, was brought up in Chicago. It would have been a homecoming for Wade. I also wonder in this scenario, would Carmelo have changed his mind and signed with Chicago? But let's just say, for the sake of argument, he still goes to New York. Now, the big thing you have to ask is, would they have had the money, Chicago? Yeah, but they would have had to have really rearranged some things. They would have had to really clear some space. At that time, Noah, who for a couple of years was a decent big man in this league, not The thing about Noah, people got to remember is Noah was projected to be like a top 2, 3 big man in the league at one point. But what happened with Noah is that he never really developed offensively. He was at his prime a good, really, really good defender, a great defender actually, great rebounder. Um, he did all the other things, all the other intangibles that you ask for a big man, but offensively, he never developed, which hindered some of his growth, especially as the NBA began to transform from analytics and big men. The demands of the big man changed, and you needed more stretch 4s and 5s, and Noah just fell out of fashion. But at that time, he was highly touted. Of course, Derrick Rose was with the Chicago Bulls. I think the year before he was a rookie. But the thing that would help Chicago is that they were on their rookie contracts. So I think what they had to have done is get rid of some pieces. At that time, I think they would have had to get rid of guys like Luol Deng, free up some money. I'm trying to remember whether Boozer was already on the team or was he acquired. I think he was acquired in 2010. So Boozer's not going to be acquired. So they probably would have had to clear up some room, with some of the other pieces. And, there still would have been a formidable team. There would have been a lineup of Derrick Rose, Dwayne Wade, LeBron James, Chris Bosh, and Joakim Noah. Now, it sounds formidable. It sounds tremendous. But there's some questions. Remember, in real life, even though they're able to go to the finals based off of their just sheer talent, some of the kinks, some of the problems with that team caught up with them. And that is that they just hadn't quite figured out how best to play with each other at that time. And ultimately they figured out LeBron had to have the basketball. Wade worked religiously on working on this off-ball game, playing off the ball, cuts to the basket, things of that nature. Chris Bosh had to become a stretch. Now, in this scenario, Noah's fine. Okay, Noah's the traditional, big man. He's not going to demand a lot of touches from the ball, a lot of touches, in general, rebounding, playing defense. He's cool. I think Bosh has to kind of do the same thing because I'm just going to assume that LeBron James is going to get the basketball. Okay. What I'm wondering is maybe what will work best with this team is to have Bosh play as a stretch 4. Wade play off the ball like he did in Miami. But in the back, I don't want to say backcourt, but more or less having Rose and LeBron share the majority of the ball handling. When, when LeBron has the basketball, Rose, has to work on, because he's younger. So since he's younger, he can develop certain aspects of his game faster. You know what I'm saying? His learning curve will be stronger than, say, a guy like LeBron, who already was damn near 10 years into the game and stubborn. That's all. I mean, I'm not saying that's the only way it can work, but they're gonna have to figure out how to make that work offensively. There's only one basketball. I think the best scenario will be an ensemble offense, like LeBron with 22 points, Wade with 21 a game, Rose with 19 a game. You know what I'm saying? Bosh 14 a game, Noah 7, whatever the fuck it is. Their bench is probably going to be rather thin because of the fact that the contracts of Bosh, LeBron, and Wade is going to be so astronomical. Another thing that I think is going to have to change. Now that I'm thinking about it, you guys can engage in the comments. Um, I'm not sure if Thibodeau is going to mesh with LeBron. I I don't think it's going to work. And knowing LeBron James, he's going to get his way. They're going to get another fucking coach. All right. Who? I don't know, but they're going to get another coach. Um, Maybe somebody like fucking not John Hurt, excuse me. Um, Jeff Hornacek or something. I don't know. They're going to get some other fucking coach. Defensively, the Bulls are going to be very good. The Bulls were already in real life a really good defensive team. Now that was part of Tom Thibodeau. Now what could happen is in this scenario, I don't know if he'll take the demotion, but do you think Thibodeau would take a demotion, go back to being a defensive coach, and having someone else be the head coach, just to be part of their organization, or just be part of the process, or does he say fuck no? I don't know. But anyway, irregardless of that, a team with Wade in his prime, Bosh in his prime, LeBron and Noah, they can't be bad defensively. Now, look, we get on LeBron James now for being a horrible defender, but I have to admit, during his Miami Heat days, he was an engaged defender. Now, stylistically, he wasn't the best as far as his positioning and all of that, but because of his activity, his size, his lateral quickness, his speed, the energy he had back then, he was a really engaged defender. Um, you know, as I'm thinking, I'm wondering if the Bulls could have stolen someone instead of him going to Miami. If they could have got a Shane Battier there, I think he would be great with this team. Um, but these are some of the things I'm thinking about. If that team could somehow gel, I see them winning 3 championships in a 4-year span. I think that uh, just having that level of talent would overcome some of the things that happen later on. However, I don't see that team staying together past, now that I'm thinking about it, 3 to 4 years. Maybe I'm kind of forgetting when some of their deals expired, but once Noah, once uh, once Derrick Rose's rookie deals expire, they're going to want more money, and the Bulls aren't going to be able to pay them because they got so much money, wrapped up in these other guys. So unless they're willing to, I don't see them doing it. So the way that the NBA is today, I can see this team winning a couple of championships, being very dominant for a short period of time, but ultimately the money will beckon, and I see those guys leaving in free agency. Um, Derrick Rose being a multiple multiple All Star and multiple champion, a very young player, and maybe in this scenario, maybe in this time uh, warp or universe, he doesn't get hurt. All of the minutes being played by Tom Thibodeau doesn't happen. He's playing far less minutes. The team is blowing everybody out if things work. But that's what I think, man. I think they're going to struggle at first. They're going to try to figure out how they're going to make this thing work offensively. You got, Wade, who's been historically a ball dominant guy. LeBron James, a ball dominant guy. Chris Bosh, a ball dominant guy. Rose, a ball dominant guy. They're going to have to figure out how to make that work. But I think those guys, with Wade, his temperament, LeBron James, his temperament and desire, Chris Bosh, his temperament, with Derrick Rose being young, young guy from Chicago himself, Wade being from Chicago. I can see it working. Like I said, I don't think they'll be together that long. But tell me what you guys think.
Cornmeal.